Hey, this is Frank Caliendo, along with George W. Bush, John Madden, and Al Pacino. And don't go anywhere. Profiles. It's coming right up. Whoa. Boom.
Welcome to Profiles. I'm Jeanette Ng. Today's guest is master impressionist Frank Caliendo, best known for his spot-on impressions of George W. Bush, Al Pacino, John Madden, Jack Nicholson, and many, many more. Caliendo is also star and executive producer of TBS's highly popular late-night sketch comedy series, Frank TV, currently in its second season. After a short break, we'll join our host, Mickey Burns, as he welcomes comedian Frank Caliendo to Profiles. Welcome back to Profiles. From his frequent appearances on The Late Show with David Letterman to his weekly segment on Fox NFL Sunday, Frank Caliendo has been all over television in the past few years. His spot-on impressions of our favorite celebrities have garnered Caliendo a huge fan base. So let's join our host, Mickey Burns, on location at Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar in the heart of New York City as he welcomes the popular Frank Caliendo to Profiles.
Please don't tell Tipper.
The scandal you only thought you knew.
Al, the work you do for the environment is too important. I've got to protect you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. I can't control myself. What with all these big-boned Bettys walking around here?
I took an oath, Al, to our wives and to our country.
But not everyone has what you and Hillary have.
So true. My one and only.
Frank Caliendo, welcome to our show Profiles.
All right, glad to be here.
Okay, for our viewers, you are the hottest comedian on the planet.
As far as you know, yes.
That must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's going well. Things are going well.
For our viewers, they will recognize you certainly for your own show, which you are the star of Frank TV, which has created some big numbers in the first season, currently celebrating the second season. We'll talk about that in a bit, but also on Mad TV, Fox NFL Sunday, Late Show with David Letterman. I see you there all the time. And just the other night, you're on Larry King Live. So I guess, as they say, when you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah, I was on Leno the other day, too. And I just kept doing Jay with Jay. Didn't let him talk. Hey, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. It's your turn. It's my turn. I don't know.
He didn't look that comfortable with it.
No, he has fun. He has a lot of fun with it.
Does he?
Yeah, oh yeah. Jay just never looks comfortable, I think. He actually is comfortable. It's like, it's very different. I mean, it's odd because that was the first time Leno ever just let me go off. And
he did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Letterman, I've gone in there so many times that he just, hey, just go do whatever you want. It's like, that kind of like, Paul, is he done yet? So it was really great to be on Leno and just get to go. Because I grew up watching Jonathan Winters and Robin Williams, and remember when Robin Williams would go on and just create chaos? I mean, that to me was the most hilarious thing, is running around, oh my gosh, here we are, what's going on? It's a flag for the sea, who knew? All right.
Now, Frank TV, of which you are also the star, you're the executive producer, and you're also the creator.
And choreographer.
And all of that, right? And you recently celebrated, as I said, the second season. It airs Tuesday night, 10 p.m.?
Tuesdays at 11 on the East Coast.
It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. For those out there, viewers who haven't seen the show yet, explain to us a little bit about what Frank TV is.
Well, it's a sketch show. It's mostly based on impressions. We added two new guys, Mike McRae and Freddie Lockhart, do a bunch of impressions as well. But we make the impressions characters, as opposed to like game shows and stuff like that with impressions. We try to make them, for me, Al Pacino isn't about being Al Pacino. He's a crazy guy who can't believe science is as good as it is.
You are a man, I guess.
Amazing.
If we had to label you a master impressionist, and you do basically impressions of almost everyone famous. But my question is, how did it start? How did it start for you to say, hey, I think I want to be an impressionist?
Well, I never wanted to be an impressionist. I mean, I was just able to mimic people and voice. I could do, I could mimic friends and stuff like that too. Yeah. That's how people create characters, is they do non-famous people and then put them in situations. That's really how a lot of the characters are created. What resonates with me is, and the only reason I use resonates as a word here is because I was thinking of, not Dana Carvey, but Dennis Miller. Rich Miller's Dennis Miller's brother.
Here, what I'll do is go back in the logic here. Resonates is a big word, and that's a word that Dennis Miller would have used. And boom, that's why I'm looking directly in the camera right now. I would have said Renaissance Inn, because it's a place I stayed years and years ago. But you know, he did a bit about Jack Nicholson working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Chache, why would, you know, one of the greatest actors of our time? I always wanted to have a reason for people to be, you know, in the sketches and stuff like
Sure.
that.
And when you decide, when you set your sights on someone, say, I'm going to impersonate him or that person, what comes first, the voice or the mannerism?
It's always different. Depends.
Does it?
Yeah. I don't. You know, you'll try and work on the voice, but the mannerism sometimes can. Like with McCain, it's, you know, it's easy.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, his stuff
sure.
is my French. You know, this stuff all in here. You know, it's all. And
Yeah.
I was always worried about, you know, goofing on that, but you know, he's a POW. That's the reason he can't. Then I realized he sways side to side. He doesn't move his arms above his shoulders, and I'm basically the same. So you know,
Right.
there's no real difference there. I
And
mean,
if you do someone and you feel you've got them spot on, but the audience is, they're not laughing. Do you continue to work on making it better, or do you can it?
well, I mean, there's a bunch of different. I mean, you can cartoon it up to make
Sure.
it funnier. Sometimes the funniest, you know, impression has nothing to do with the actual person. You know, sometimes the you know, a voice that's right on the money isn't that funny. you know, I can do
Right,
Ted
right.
Koppel all day, but
Yeah.
does it sound funny?
Yeah, that sounds like it. But what are the jokes? So it always comes down to what are the jokes
good,
and
very
what's the
good.
material that's in there. That's where it comes from. I think you know, that's the most difficult thing of sustaining an impression. Look
Sure.
at Will Ferrell. Ferrell's not a great impressionist, but he was known for doing that President Bush and doing that
Fabulous,
Harry
yeah,
Carey and stuff like that.
yeah.
He's just funnier than everybody else. So if you're
Right.
funny, it doesn't matter.
In the world of impressions, in your case, which would you consider a career maker, like Rich Little's Johnny Carson, or like David Fry's Richard Nixon? Do you have what would be considered a career maker?
Madden was first, John Madden.
Yeah.
You know, if you talk like this and you can do that, then you don't even have to say anything. You just go.
But then the Bush thing became really big. It's
Yeah.
funny because I was pigeonholed as the guy who only did Madden for a while. People are like, that's all that guy does is John Madden. Now, people with President Bush leaving office and an ex-president coming up, people are like, what are you going to do without President Bush? Well, I don't know. The other 75 impressions I do, that might be part of it. You know,
Right.
but
Because
people are
you-
always looking for that thing that, like, how can it be shut down? How will this end? How can we be negative here?
And you mentioned John Madden, and he's been very verbal about it. And when I listen to him complaining about it, I wonder if that bothers you, or does it just put fuel on your fire?
Well, I've never heard him directly say anything. I know that he.
I mean, it's
doesn't-
word
I know
on
he
the
doesn't
street
like
is
it,
he's
yeah.
not crazy about
Yeah,
it.
he
you
doesn't
know?
like it, even though he pretends to sometimes. But he, you know, I used to worry about that, but then I got to the point where I was like, well, I can't do anything about it. It's what I do. You know, I'm just goofing
Right.
around. I like the guy. I've always found him fun. I think
Yes.
sometimes people get worried that you're going to hurt their worth.
Yeah,
I found that it makes them bigger.
You're promoting them.
Letterman used to bring me on as Madden. And he would bring me on as Madden, not say I wasn't Madden, and hold up an EA Sports video game for them. It was a commercial for them. I had
absolutely.
nothing to do with it. I wasn't getting paid anything. Believe me, they got a plug for their game. You know, it was like, well, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Meet John Madden, former head coach of the Oakland Raiders, video game magnate, and top sports broadcaster. He would appear to have it all. But this spring, his world came crashing down when Green Bay Packer Brett Favre retired.
I promised I wouldn't get emotional.
Don't do it, Brett.
It's never easy.